Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely changing the way you look at numbers. Have you ever watched someone solve a massive multiplication problem in their head in just seconds and thought, man, they must have some kind of supercomputer brain? Well, here's the truth. They absolutely don't. Good mathematicians, they don't rely on grueling wrong-form calculations from scratch. Instead, they're always hunting for shortcuts. They use a very specific toolkit of mental math strategies to make ridiculously difficult calculations feel like a breeze. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to have that exact same toolkit ready to go.
The secret to mental math.
So I want to start things off by throwing a seemingly daunting question your way. Can you solve 240 multiplied by 5 in your head right now? Seriously, don't write anything down. Now, for most of us, seeing a 3-digit number multiplied by a single digit instantly triggers that old high school math panic, right? You try to visualize the numbers stacked on top of each other, you multiply the 5 by the 0, then the 5 by the 4, you carry the 2, and honestly, by the time you've done all that, you've completely lost track of where you even started. Let's stop doing that. Let's look at a much better way.
We can completely reframe this problem. Look on the left, there's our difficult calculation 240 times 5. But on the right, we have a much simpler known multiplication fact. 24 times 5 equals 120. Here's the secret. Good mathematicians don't start from scratch. They find a related fact they already know, or one they can figure out in a split second. If you know that 24 times 5 is 120, you've just unlocked the shortcut to solving that impossible-looking calculation on the left.
Section 2. The power of 10. We're going to leverage the predictable, honestly kind of beautiful power of tens and hundreds to scale our known facts up or down, and we're going to do it without any extra heavy lifting. So, here's how the power of 10 strategy actually works in practice. Step 1. We start with that known fact we just talked about. 24 times 5 equals 120. Step 2. Look back at our original question, 240 times 5. What actually changed between 24 and 240? The number 24 just got 10 times bigger. And because of how the rules of multiplication work, whatever happens to one side of the equation has to happen to the answer. So we just multiply our answer of 120 by 10. You literally just add a 0. Suddenly we hit 1200 instantly, with zero mental strain. How cool is that?
Let's stretch this concept a bit further. What if we multiplied by 100 instead? Imagine I asked you to solve 24 times 500. Take a second and apply the exact same logic we just used. What is 500 really? It's simply our base number of 5 multiplied by 100. And we already know the base fact, right? 24 times 5 is 120.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that multiplying one of the numbers by 100 simply makes our known fact 100 times bigger. 12 becomes 12,000. Just like that, you're doing massive mental calculations that a minute ago would have definitely required a pen and paper.
Section 3. Double and half strategy.
Now this next strategy revolves around keeping an equation perfectly balanced, kind of like a seesaw, while changing the numbers to suit whatever is easiest for you. For example, look at the left, 25 times 16. Yikes, that looks difficult. Most of us definitely do not know our 16 times tables. But watch what happens when we manipulate the numbers. If we double the 25, we get 50. But to keep the entire equation mathematically balanced, since we made one number twice as big, we have to make the other number half as big. So we have the 16 to get 8. Now look at the new equation, 50 times 8. Well, we know 5 times 8 is 40, so 50 times 8 is 400. We didn't change the answer at all. We just bent the calculation into one that's dramatically easier to solve.
Now, it's really important to realize that while doubling and halving always keeps the exact same mathematical balance, it's a tool you've got to use strategically. Look at this example, 16 times 25. If we decide to double the 16 to get 32 and halve the 25 to get 12.5, well, we end up with 32 times 12.5. Now, technically, the answer remains exactly the same, but we definitely haven't made it easier on ourselves, have we? Actually, scratch that. We probably made it worse. The key takeaway here is to always scan the numbers first. Choose the number to double that creates a nice, friendly, round number ending in a 0, like turning a 25 into a 50, while having the other one.
Section 4. Breaking numbers apart.
Our third tool is absolutely perfect for those pesky 2-digit numbers that just don't easily double or halve into nice round numbers. So instead of changing the equation completely, we're just going to chop it up into bite-sized pieces. Here's your next challenge. How would you quickly solve 23 multiplied by 4? Again, 23 isn't a very friendly number. Doubling it to 46 doesn't really help us out.
We need a different strategy. We need to partition that two-digit number.
Partitioning is really just a fancy way of saying we're pulling the number apart into its logical components. Step 1. We break the 23 into a 20 and a 3. Thinking 20 times 4 is incredibly easy, right? That's 80. Step 2. We take that remaining 3 and multiply it by 4. That's 12. Step 3. We simply add those two easy answers together. 80 plus 12 gives us 92. See? By breaking the number down into parts that are way easier to multiply, we completely bypass the mental struggle.
Section 5. The Near 100 Trick.
Okay, this is a brilliant trick designed specifically for multiplying numbers by 99 or 101. These numbers look absolutely terrifying on paper, but they are secretly your best friends. If you see a problem like 24 times 99, your brain should immediately recognize that 99 is extremely close to 100. So we're going to cheat a little bit. Step 1. Instead of multiplying by 99, we just multiply 24 by 100. We definitely know how to do that. It's 2,400. But since we only wanted 99 groups of 24 and we calculated 100 groups, we have exactly one group too many. So, step 2, we simply subtract one instance of 24 from our total. 2,400 minus 24 is 2,376. It's incredibly fast and remarkably precise.
And honestly, once you grasp that, multiplying by 101 is just the flip side of the exact same coin. For 24 times 99, we multiplied by 100 and subtracted 24. For 24 times 100, you still multiply by our friendly base of 100 to get 2,400. But because 101 is 1 more than 100, you just add 124 at the end. 2,400 plus 24 equals 2,424. Look at you. You're quite literally doing three-digit multiplication in your head in a matter of seconds.
Section 6. The Mental Math Challenge.
All right, you've learned the secrets. You've got the toolkit. Now it's time to put your new mental agility to the test with a rapid-fire competition. But before we start, let's do a really quick recap of your 4 cheat sheet strategies. Keep these loaded in your mind. 1. Double one number and halve the other. 2. Use a multiplication fact you already know. 3. Multiply by 10 or 100 to scale up. And 4. Break two-digit numbers into easier parts. Remember, the aim here isn't just to find the answer. The aim is to purposefully use a clever strategy to find it. Ready? Here we go.
Challenge 1. What is 40 times 6? Now, don't calculate it the hard way. Scan the numbers. What fact do you already know here? And what power can you use?
Boom. The answer is 240. You instantly know that 4 times 6 is 24, right? And since 40 is 10 times bigger than 4, you just use the power of 10 strategy to make your answer 10 times bigger. 24 becomes 240. Amazing.
Okay, now for your final, hardest challenge. What is 35 times 101? Do not try long multiplication. Think back to our advanced trick. How close is 101 to a number we absolutely love to multiply by?
Nailed it! The answer is 3,535. You just think 35 times 100, which is 30,500. Then simply add one more 35. You just crushed a calculation that would make most people instantly reach for their smartphones. Great job!
We've seen today that multiplication isn't always about suffering through a long, tedious calculation. You've got a powerful toolkit now. The most important thing you can do when faced with a math problem from now on is to pause, look at the numbers, and ask yourself this single, vital question. Can I make this calculation easier? Because if you look closely enough, there's almost always a shortcut waiting to be found. And honestly, it leaves me wondering what other complex areas of your life could be solved if you just stop starting from scratch and ask yourself, can I make this easier?